Aquí por la número. This is the phone number of Governor Rick Scott of Florida. Okay, call the number and put it on speaker. Alto voz.
Thank you for contacting Governor Rick Scott's office. Your call is important to us. Please press 1 to speak with an available representative.
Uno.
Please press. Good morning, Office of Governor Rick Scott, Citizen Services.
Hi, this is Governor Rick Scott's office, right?
Sir?
Governor of Florida. Is this phone call being recorded?
Record the call by typing it out, sir. How may we assist you?
Okay. I need to speak to the governor because, and I'm going to be asking for a transcript of this phone conversation as soon as we're done. I'm a native born in Miami, Florida, resident citizen of the United States of America. And I have, over the last several months, thanks to YouTube, been becoming very acquainted with the reality that someone is spraying something over our heads. And more people are becoming aware of it. And recently, I was here in sunny South Florida, where I grew up on blue skies near the ocean, watching airplanes overhead spraying thick white fumes of clouds, crisscross directions. It wasn't natural. It's not contrails from an airplane. They're spraying. And there's plenty of YouTube information that validates that. So I called the FAA, several numbers with the FAA, because they're in charge of the airways, to inquire who is spraying what over our heads. I have a right to know. You have a right to know. You work for the governor, but you're a human being. And I would think you'd want to know as well. And of course, I get no response. I called the air traffic control tower in Miami, Florida to try to speak, and I got put through to answer machines and left messages, and nobody got back with me. So, hey, Governor Rick Scott is the governor of the state of Florida. I'm sure he would want to know who is spraying what over our heads, wouldn't you think? If he's the governor of Florida and he's concerned about our health and our safety, he would want to know who is spraying what over our heads. The people have a right to know. The citizens have a right to know. I want to know. I have children. I have grandchildren. I wake up and there's film and residue on my windows on various days after I see these fumes in the sky. I know for a fact right now it's sunny out in Miami, Florida, and it would be blue skies, and it's not. It's hazy. There's a white film haze in the sky. It's not the same blue skies that I grew up with 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I'm 52 years of age. And these are not the same crystalline blue skies I grew up with. So be sure that this message gets to Governor Rick Scott. In fact, I'm going to make a YouTube video of it, because you have a right to know. Governor Rick Scott has a right to know. I have a right to know. My family has a right to know, and every citizen of Florida and every citizen of the United States of America has a right to know, because it's not just happening over Florida. It's happening all over the United States of America. So I'm also going to be contacting the White House and questioning President Donald J. Trump as to whether he knows who is spraying what over our heads. So are you personally familiar with this reality yourself?
I wouldn't have any information about this, but I certainly have your concern on it, and I will get it to the governor.
Okay, you have no information about it. Are you personally aware, or am I the human being that's making you as a person aware of this for the first time? Hello?
Yes, sir?
Yeah. Are you aware yourself as a human being, as a person, about these plumes that are being sprayed overhead? Or have you ever heard of it? Are you familiar with it? Or am I the human being that's making you aware of it for the first time in your life?
I've heard that calls about this before.
You have heard of calls about this before. Okay, so you've heard of calls about this before, but you haven't gained any insights into it?
No, sir, I have no knowledge about it. But I will get your concerns to the governor. That is my duty, to get your concerns to the governor.
Absolutely. And don't you think I don't know if you have children or a family or if you care about them, but don't you think you yourself should also be concerned? You've heard of it. You also have the ability to go on YouTube, and there's numerous videos that you can watch where it shows clearly that there is, and in fact, out in California, they have had conferences with officials and scientists, and they indicated it's particles of aluminum and cobalt and other types of micro materials. And some of them even indicated if it's military, it's because they're putting little microns of aluminum in the air. Well, we know aluminum is associated with Alzheimer's through the food we eat. So now we got to breathe it in. We got to breathe in little particles of aluminum. That's ridiculous. So somebody, you and me and every other citizen of Florida and the governor of Florida needs to unite with other governors and other citizens to stand up against it so that we're not being sprayed like cockroaches and poisoned. Wouldn't you agree?
I will get it to the governor. My personal opinion, I'm not going to share. I will get it to the governor.
Okay, you're not going to share your personal opinion, but I sure hope you have a good one, and I sure hope that you personally try to look into it and do something about it yourself. And I appreciate you getting my message to the governor, and I'll be sure to send this, I'm going to ask for a transcript of this as well, because I know it's being recorded and I can get a transcript. So I'll be doing that and putting that on YouTube. You can let them know that as well. So I appreciate your assistance with this.
Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Okay, now I'm going to call the number about getting a transcript.